Okay, Derek, I saw your video of B and Z, and their non-reaction to the dog barking. Z's face is hilarious, and I tried to post this on there because I was really hysterical at the time just watching the face of that cat. B had no reaction whatsoever. But see, here's the thing I've said before. That particular cat that's always following me around, like wherever I am, he shows up somewhere. He was abandoned, the poor thing. He's got issues, okay? I had to drug him to catch him. I'm not kidding. I know, you're going to think it's really funny. I gave the cat Valium, okay, to catch him in the first place. When I found him, for 2 weeks, I drove to this hick town, like a little distance from my house, because that's where I showed the property where I found him, every other day, and fed him and sat with him and visited with him and petted him. And it was a farm. It was a big house on 10 acres, and he was living in the barn, and he would jump up in the rafters where he felt safe. So for 2 weeks, I went every other day and just sat there for like 30 minutes and visited with him and fed him, made sure he had food. And then these fires broke out in that area. I didn't want another cat. I already had one we've had for 8 years. And I was kind of hoping somebody would buy the house and the cat would convey with the house. But there were fires in that area, so I had to go get him. And I knew I couldn't catch him because I tried before. He'll let you pet him, but when you get near him, he'd run. He still does. He won't let you pick him up, except when he's on Valium. He has issues, you know. So the dog barking, who knows what he went through. I took him to the vet as soon as I got him to get shots and checked out before I let him around my other cat, and they estimated he's 2 years old. So I don't know what he went through. I know the people that own that house, when I asked about the cat, they said, oh, well, he wasn't really our cat. We just sort of fed him. Well, that house was completely empty, and the only thing in the house was cans of cat food in the cabinet. So he would sit in the yard every time I'd go over there. I showed the house to these people twice, and when we'd step out the back door, he'd be sitting in the yard. The barn was, you know, there was yard between the house and the barn. And he'd be looking at the house, knowing that that's where people would come from. And there was another barn off to the other side. And when I would walk that direction, because he had like an area he wouldn't leave. He did not roam the whole 10 acres. He only stayed in this like 1 acre area. And I would reach a certain point, he would stop and just sit down. But I'd walk to the other barn, and he ran ahead of me and would go into each of the stalls. They had horse stalls and everything. And like he knew the path, whoever the people were that were there before, when they would feed all the animals that used to be there, he knew the routine, the route that they would go, and he would run ahead of me each stop, and I was kind of following him. So I actually found his parameters of how far he would go by letting him lead me. So it was pretty mean of these people to say, oh, he wasn't really our cat, we just fed him, when he had obviously spent enough time with them that he even knew the entire routine of where they went to feed all the animals. And then they move away and all the animals are gone. He's left by himself in the barn. And there were a few cows on the farm next door, and I know one time one of the baby cows came up to the fence right beside us and let me pet his nose. And Whiskers was very comfortable around the other cows, and he didn't mind those animal sounds, but the dogs barking obviously freaked him out. So I could have left you a nice short comment saying Z's face was hilarious, and what the heck? Oh, now that's funny. Can you see this? Do you see the eyes? Here's the other cat that you never see. She's on the pool deck. Hold on. Okay, I got my other kitty. This is Kiara. And she's got enough catitude for all of the cats, too. Just not as freaked out. But definitely does not like to be held. Here you go. Okay. That's my story.